Flesh and Blood sales continue to weaken. Revenue is slightly up on new expansions. And what does June hold with the release of Uprising? Welcome back to Final Trade. This is your May update of Flesh and Blood sales from TCG Player, just crawling the data that's available over there. Remember, that's going to have some problems. It doesn't capture eBay, local game stores, international markets, etc. But what did we see between April and May? Welcome to Wraith was flat. Arcane Rising down a little. Crucible of War cut in half for the second month in a row. People just really are not loving those boxes. I'll say it again, I think there's less Crucible of War Unlimited existing in the world today than we think. Monarch First Edition fell back away from what it had gained when the print run numbers came out in April. Remember, when those numbers came out, the market was very happy with the print run size, and sales popped up in April on the back of that, but now they've fallen back down in line with where you'd expect. Everything else down little bits, even Everfest. Yes, you see this giant high here from pre-sales from the release month, and then this kind of exponential decay, which is what this red line is. This is what you should expect with every expansion, every game, every product, is that people buy it as soon as it's available, they get their fill of it, and then the sales tail off over time. History Pack Volume 1. Now, the pre-release for History Pack and Uprising, they both started on like the last day of April, so there was like 1 day of data for those. But the interesting thing about History Pack Volume 1, it's almost as if it's like a product from the future that has come back in time to before it was needed. So, Welcome to Wraith, Arcane Rising, and Crucible of War Unlimited, they're all out of print. The last one went out of print in December of 2021, but availability is still good. Price is still good. The most expensive one is Arcane Rising. It's about $100 a box, but Crucible is about $80, and Welcome to Wraith is all the way down at like $60 per box. So they're available. The prices are really good. And so you really wonder, is History Pack Volume 1 too early? Should Legend Story Studios have waited several months before releasing it? I really think the answer to that is History Pack Volume 1 is not for new players, it is for card stores. And let me explain that. Imagine you just got exposed to Flesh and Blood at your friend's house. You decide the next day you're going to go down to your LGS and you're going to spend some money. And let's say you're going to spend, $300, $350. You're going to buy several boxes. We live in a golden age right now where you could just walk into that LGS and you can still pick up those first 3 boxes of the game. And you get the full selection of cards that are available in those expansions. Or you can pick up History Pack Volume 1 and you get a more limited set that's a combination from all 3. Well, you're probably going to pick to get individual boxes of each of the sets to get a greater variety of cards. But now let's imagine you're a card store, you got burned by Channel Fireball shenanigans, and you've decided, Flesh and Blood just doesn't sell well enough, I'm not going to carry it anymore. But now your distributor comes to you and says, hey, look, there's History Pack Volume 1. It's a way to get some exposure to your customers to 3 different sets at once. Yeah, they're white bordered, who cares? But you can buy 1 case and you get bigger exposure for your customers. This is a product for card stores. This is not a product for players or collectors or investors. And so I'm not really concerned to see that it went into full release this month on TCG Player and it only sold 240 boxes as opposed to Everfest 3,800 boxes. Also remember, people have had a long time to get these products. Crucible of War Unlimited came out July or August of 2021. And so it's been nearly a year that players could get all they wanted of everything in the History Pack. Now, Uprising, only 154 boxes sold. It goes into full release June 24th. So next month when I make this video with the updates for June, we'll have what the real honest pre-release numbers are. I don't know at this point what kind of promotion is being done, how much hype is building up around this set. So hopefully we see some numbers like these basically combined. If we saw 5,000 boxes in June, I'd be ecstatic. But here we are for the month-over-month percentages on the box sales. So down 28% overall, and that is with adding these 2 new products. Again, as usual, these two plots are all the same data. I just have the horizontal axis on this one cut down to max out at 500, so this giant curve for Everfest does not drown out the rest of the data, and you can see visually everything just kind of trends down. Now, what about prices and revenue? Here we are. The two plots are actual prices per box, and like a broken record, I say it every week, all Flesh and Blood is underpriced. And the longer that these curves for the early unlimited releases, Welcome to Wraith, Arcane Rising, and Crucible, the longer these curves remain flat, the more underpriced they are. Because remember, they're all out of print. Boxes are going into the diamond hands, they're getting opened. The supply on the market is shrinking day after day after day. And so the longer that these stay flat, the more underpriced they are as time goes on. You see everything else pretty much stayed flat. Monarch First Edition kind of gave up some of that $10 or so gain that it got when the print run numbers came out, and maybe it's a little bit below where it was to start with. Still a good product. 125,000 boxes is still a tiny, tiny amount. Flesh and Blood keeps growing. It's a popular game. It's fun. It's not going away. And in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we'll look at those Monarch First Edition print run numbers and we'll say, man, there are so few printed and so few still existing sealed in the world. So you can look at overall sales numbers went up very, very slightly, about 18% gain. But again, that's because you added new products this month. So everything was down on a total revenue basis. This is total revenue, not cost per box in this month over month data. So what am I expecting to see in June? Heavy pre-order and the release of Uprising. Again, it comes out June 24th. So you are going to have about a week of post-release sales when I release the data for June, a month from now. Go ahead and subscribe so you can get that when it comes out. Let me know what you think. Any other interesting information, things you'd like to see added to this, whatever else. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade. Thanks a lot.